Hi, everyone. Welcome to Conversations with Catherine. I am so excited. My guest today is Andrea Robinson. You probably know her as a longtime former news anchor here in Phoenix. And of course, she's very much involved in the community. And she's written this tremendous journal, or I should say, created this tremendous journal for all of us to set our intentions and give our gratitude. So, Andrea, I'm so excited to see you and have you here.
I'm so excited to see you. This is me like hugging you. If I could hug you right now.
Virtual hugs.
Yeah, virtual hug. I'm so excited to be here. Have always just been in awe of you and your spirit and your heart and your love for this community. So it's always an honor, and it made my day to be here with you.
Well, thank you. That is the sweetest thing, because we shared for many years the same co-anchor, different times in our lives. But Ron Hoon always spoke so highly of you. So I know he's going to be excited somewhere to find out that we finally have this connection via Zoom.
Exactly. And when we can finally meet in person, we'll do it justice and do it right. But Ron always spoke so highly of you. And then he loved his birthday lunches with you. That's your thing, to have your birthday burgers on your birthday to celebrate them. And he just adores you, as obviously so many people here.
You're sweet. Well, speaking of which, his birthday is coming up on May 11th, FYI.
Yes. He shares one with my brother. That's how I always remember.
Oh, I love that. Well, thank you again for being here and talking to me about what's really important right now. And that is finding the gratitude, the blessings in life, especially during a challenging time like we're all dealing with COVID-19. First of all, how are you personally doing at home with your family? How's everybody doing being together for all these weeks?
I'm going to be real honest with you. I'm grateful that we're healthy and that we are all together. And so, I'm not dismissing that, because that's the biggest blessing. But I don't like homeschooling. And I have a 7 and a 9-year-old. And if I had $1 billion right now, I would drop it in loads to every teacher that has ever taught my child, because I can't do it. Like, I have no patience as it is. And this has changed our relationship, because we're not growing closer with school. We are growing apart, but I know it's short-lived, and I'm on a countdown and school's almost done. So that's giving me hope to keep going. So besides the homeschooling thing that I'm not great at and I don't ever want to be good at, all of you that do that on the regular.
Yes. God bless you.
We're doing good. We're doing just, I just have to say, it could be worse. I keep saying it could be worse. We could not be healthy. We could not have a house.
Mm-hmm.
We could not have a safe place as our home to be in. So for us, it's been okay.
Well, and it's all about perspective, because I think the same thing. I'm grateful that we're all healthy and that we're together and that we're slowing down enough to really count our blessings, and they're all around us. It just depends on what your perspective is. So that's what I really love about this journal that you created. You do you. It's for women. It's about setting the intention every day. It's about finding the gratitude in every day. Tell me what prompted you to create this at a time when you were kind of searching for something else to do as well, right?
Yeah. So I started really consistently practicing gratitude and cultivating that. Probably now it's been about 3 years, and it was during a time of transition in my life when I was, working in TV news and had been for a really long time, doing the morning show, which is hard. TV hours on paper, everyone on the outside looking in, oh, that looks great. You only work this much. No, it's a lot. And so I had this stirring in my heart, and there was a lot of things inside of me changing. And at the time, a dear friend of mine, had gifted me a gratitude journal. It was a simple guided journal, and I kind of pushed it off to the side. I don't have time for that. Do you know what time I wake up? And there was a day, I can remember the day of just flood of emotions. Everything came into me. It was this short little window of time in my day that I had carved out for myself until I had to go pick the kids up and start round 2 of the day. Mm-hmm. And I was like, is this how life is supposed to be? I have a great life. It's very blessed, but none of it feels good right now. I am not happy at all. I'm not happy. I'm not filled with joy. I am just literally going through the motions on a hamster wheel. And live for Friday and I cry on Sundays. Like, I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to live like this. So the next day I thought, well, something has to change. So I picked up this journal that she had gifted me. And again, dear friends do that. You know, they like lovingly kind of nudge things in your life that they think will help you.
They
And
kind of know what you need when you need it.
sometimes. They don't want to say it, but they do it.
Yes.
And so that very next morning, I was like, I don't want to feel like this. Like yesterday was terrible. I don't want to keep feeling like this. So I remember that morning, I opened up that journal before I like perused Twitter and like, you know, it scrolled at 2:30 in the morning at my house. And the first question, what are you grateful for? It's like such a simple question, yet and I'm sure I'm not alone, don't pause long enough or even have this much wiggle room in our day to sit and be like, what am I? Like, I mean, of course I'm grateful for but what else? And so that day I started, and you know, when you start something, it's not going to become a habit like that. It took time. I decided I was going to call a therapist because I thought I really needed to like figure out where this was all coming and why this was stirring up and this was messy. And it was the best thing I ever did. Best thing I ever did. And so now here we are. When I left TV news, I had no intention of like, I'm going to make this journal and this. It was just a conversation with my husband one night, over wine, because doesn't everything
Yes. Wine goes well with everything.
Right? It stirs all the creativity.
Yes.
Right? You come up with ideas that I don't know if they're always good, but
good, bad, or indifferent.
Right? Yes, exactly. So he's like, this was something that's really changed you. Why couldn't you create something similar? One that maybe fit your needs a little bit more. And why would you think that you're the only one out there that could utilize, like you're not the only woman that probably feels like this. And that was such a pivotal moment because I realized as I started to share what my heart felt and some of the stuff, like I am not alone. Like, and the minute you start sharing that, you realize, wow, we're all kind of walking the same path. I mean, we've had different struggles or maybe different things that have happened, but like so many of the same insecurities we hold, the worries, the doubts, especially as women, they're all the same.
And don't you find that the more we share with each other, the more empowering it is, not just for yourself, but for those who you're sharing with, because you do have that connectiveness and that commonality. Like you said, we're all dealing with something.
Yep. That's it. And I think for so many of us women, I know I wanted everything had to be perfect. I ran this race of perfection, perfect career, perfect body, perfect this, for everything. Well, what happens? You can't reach the destination of perfection because it's not there. It just does not exist. But we hold this standard that we think we have to be because we see Sally on Instagram, she's got abs and she has a baby on her hip. And oh my gosh, like I had a baby 9 years ago and they're still not coming in. And so we hold ourselves to this standard that really isn't even been set by anyone. We just think it has. And it's exhausting. And I know that that's where I got to this exhausting place where I was missing out on joy and I was missing out on what was right in front of me. And gratitude, like not overnight, but it has absolutely changed the way my heart feels, the way I look at things. And I look now like the big things that we sometimes hold on is like everything, you know, our income or a house or they're great, right? Like, yeah, but what if one of those things gets taken from us, like it's happening right now? What happens then? Like, are we going to fall victim to our circumstances and all of a sudden, like all of our happiness goes away because that's been taken away? And so like whenever I teach, you know, gratitude journaling and everything like that, I always say the best practice, I mean, this is all it is. It's a practice. Like we're never going to master this because we're all going to have bad days. We're all going to see like, oh man, like poor me, woe is me. We're going to have days like that and that's okay. But I'd rather have less of those days and more joy-filled good days. And it just takes practice. It takes sitting, pausing long enough to like, oh my gosh, like it's beautiful out. The sun is shining. You hear the birds, like God gave me another day, or this coffee is the best coffee I've ever had this morning, or I slept 9 hours last night. I mean, it's little things.
It's little victories.
Right? It's like compound interest. You just keep adding and adding, and all of a sudden you're like, I mean, the joy list, the gratitude list is like miles long, and you feel differently.
So tell me, if somebody's watching right now and they're not feeling in the best place right now, maybe they lost their job, maybe they lost their business, maybe they are going crazy trying to be the teacher at home and all these other hats that they have to wear. How do you then get somebody to start to do that? What do you suggest for someone to start that practice?
So I think that there is, you could start right now, right this second, and you do not need some fancy, of course I love my journal. I'll be real honest, but
And it's on sale.
Fancy, and it's on sale. But it doesn't have to be fancy. You can like take a cheap Dollar Tree notebook with blank pages. But I think what it is we think we have to do it all, and you cannot do it all. And when you lower the expectation, I think that gets a bad rap. Like if I'm lowering the expectation of myself, then I'm not showing up as my true potential. And it's like, no, if you just lower it a little bit, you learn what grace feels like. And when you do that, you start to allow yourself to feel things more during the day, and realize that like our life isn't just a check mark next to a checklist. There's no feeling in that. That is just moving through the motions. So I always tell people, I don't say give yourself an hour a day. Like that's not feasible. But if you're gonna have coffee in the morning, like we could probably get up 5 minutes earlier. I mean, it's not always easy, but maybe we decide, okay, 3 days a week, I'm going to have a little time to myself. And maybe it's not the morning, maybe it's at lunchtime. You finish right now, homeschool with the kids. And you're like, I can breathe right now. And you sit and you have coffee or iced tea or your water, and you sit and you just ask yourself, I mean, if anything, 3 questions. And these, I'm telling you, when you consistently show up and ask yourself these questions and answer them, what am I grateful for? And look for the littlest things that are right in front of you that day. If you look for the good, you will find it. If you look,
absolutely, they're all around us,
right? And if you look for the bad, the same thing. Like it's just,
where
are you going to go with your mind? Are you going to always look for negative chaos? Sure. A lot of people don't want to be around people like that. I want to be the other person. And then the second question is, what will I do today to make it, awesome? And that's the intention part of the day. So what 3 things could you do? And I always say 3, and not because we're not capable of more, but 3 things is doable. And what happens when you can accomplish 3 things in a day, and it doesn't have to be like, I'm going to build a website and make a business. Like sometimes it's like, I washed my hair today, or right?
Nowadays, that is the hugest victory.
It makes you feel like, okay, I can do this. And when you accomplish something, you start to earn back that confidence, and you redevelop the confidence you've lost, maybe even just in this short frame of time that we've been sort of stuck and stopped. And then the last question, because I am a huge believer in affirmations. And for me, for so long, I looked to people to affirm and validate me. And that is like the quickest way to disappoint yourself, because you'll get it and they'll take it away as fast as they give it. In TV news, right? Like people would say great things, and then all of a sudden someone would come and take it down at the knees and like, you're fat, you're this, you're whatever.
You could never please everybody.
Never. So what you need, the act and the practice of affirming yourself every day. So I ask myself the question, what do I love about myself today? And it rarely is ever aesthetic. I never want it to be aesthetic. I want it to be, I love the way my heart is learning to forgive again. I love that I spent, 10 minutes with the kids or whatever it might be, but it can be one small thing. But what happens is, just like I think with kids, right? Our job is to build our kids up and show them the way. As we build them up and we love on them and we encourage and we affirm them, they start to believe that as their truth. And as we do that with ourselves, we'll begin to believe that as our truth. And it might take a while because, we've lived a little longer and the world's told us like everything we're not. And some of us have believed that for too long, but you can get back to believing that. And I just think of affirmations they will last forever if you consistently ask yourself that question.
So those are things that we can begin to do immediately, and we will start to see our perspective change because it's right there in front of us.
Yep.
We don't have to depend on somebody else to make us feel that way, because we already feel that way about ourselves.
Well, and how many times I've lived so much of my life, I used to tie my happiness to a thing, a job. I would tie it
Mm-hmm.
to somebody, and it's not fair. It's an expectation to put on those things or those people. Like I don't, I can't rely on them to bring me happiness. Do they bring me happiness? Of course, if it's your family, they bring you joy, but it's ultimately not their job to make us happy. Like, it is our sole job. And what can we do every day? The one thing we can control is what we're going to think and how we're going to set our mind. And with gratitude and intention and affirmation, it's a compass that I truly believe goes in the right direction of where most of us want to be.
Mm-hmm. I think that's probably one of the best things that I've gotten out of this pandemic situation of being stuck at home is that every day that I'm happy, I know that I created my own happiness.
Yes, right?
Because there's nobody else to feed it to me.
Nope.
I create it myself.
And don't you think, um, I look, life is so, and I know you can so attest to this, but life is just so fragile. It just is, like, and we
Yes.
do not get to control as much as we think. And my mom passed away at a very early age, and I'm so close to that age when she got sick. And so I think it feels so much closer to me than it ever has before. But I'm like, if this is the last day, God willing, I hope it's not. But if it is, I'm going to be really mad at myself that I sat here, just sulking and mad and not willing to just find good and move forward in some direction.
I love that. That's beautiful. That is definitely something that people can really remember is that every day we create beauty. It's possible every single day. We just have to learn to change our perspective and appreciate the little things and not take anything for granted, which I think a lot of us are learning in this difficult time. I want to let people know, first of all, where they can find this beautiful journal. And secondly, I know that your meetings that you've had, your meetups every month, are obviously on the back burner right now. But can you talk a little bit about those so that people know when we are past this situation, you will start them up again, right?
Yes, absolutely. So you can find me on all social channels and our website, AndreaRobinsonTV.com, and then on social, it's just Andrea Robinson TV. And then, of course, our online community, we've got a beautiful private Facebook community, our U2U squad. And that was really important as we were moving forward with launching the journal, was there had to be a community connection with that. And I think I heard this on a podcast the other day, and it was so telling. Communication and connection are not the same thing. So we can communicate a message all day long, but connecting on a different level, and I think in an in-person level, takes it to a whole different degree. And it's like the way God wanted it always to be. He wanted us connected. He wanted us in community. And so the meetups have become so important, and we'll get 50 or 60, 70 women come out. We cram a coffee shop. And it truly is, like, I used to think everything had to be planned, and they drive the purpose of the meeting.
Yep.
They drive the conversation, and it is what they've created. Like, I'm just so blessed to be a part of it, but the community is because of them, these women that are strong and they're authentic and they're vulnerable, and they feel safe in this place to share their hearts. So the conversation, we'll meet for an hour and a half, and we have coffee, and we've had conversations from grief to sobriety to friendships to mothering. I mean, they go all, and there's always somehow a theme that was never intended by
intended.
It's the way it shows up. It's just the way it happens. So we will get back to it. And, when you're with our community, I always, promote them where they are, when they are. We try to hopscotch around town. Right now we're having to do them virtually. It's not my favorite, but it fits the need for now. And we'll just do that until we can finally be together.
Yes, thank goodness for Zoom and all other technology that is keeping us connected.
Yes, absolutely.
Andrea, thank you. Thank you a million times over for taking the time to chat with me. I think that you've offered so many, pearls of wisdom that I think we can all implement starting now to make us feel so much better, not just about the situation we're in, but about ourselves and our joy and our happiness that really does come from within. So thank you.
Oh, you are so welcome. Thank you. Thank you for having me. And I just appreciate you, and the world needs you and your voice and your soul and your spirit. And I'm just grateful that we all get a piece of you.
Likewise, my friend. Thank you.